Hello and welcome, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a review of the film Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho, and this film was really captivating. First, I'm going to start out with a spoiler-free review, and then we're going to get into spoilers. I will let you know when we're getting into the spoiler section. But just the long and short of it is this is a phenomenal film. It's one of those films that you should watch at least once in your lifetime. And so based on the spoiler free nature of this, I'm going to start out pretty tame. We'll just read the standard description here. An unemployed family, essentially. There's four members of this family. They're all unemployed. They take an interest in these wealthy people and ingratiate themselves into their lives and get entangled in an unexpected incident. So that's a really good description. That's great for not giving a lot of the plot away. Bong Joon-ho, the director, did a tremendous job. Also, writing and directing this film. I really have to praise him in a lot of ways for this, because that's a lot of effort. It takes a lot of stamina and passion, frankly, just a lot of passion to make something like this happen. So let's go ahead and show the trailer here. And I have to talk over this for copyright reasons. So, the film is very much, it's very stylistic, and
나도 봐.
it does
인터로
have,
시간에
obviously,
소득도
you
하고.
can see subtitles, but it's very much
어머니
a
얼굴도 그렇고
Western
좋더라,
type
건강들
of
하시고.
film.
일거리가 없으셔도
Even
네가
though
내
it takes
대신 얘
place
과외
in
선생님 좀 해줘라.
South Korea.
여보.
대학생인 척하라는 거야?
구라를 좀 치지 뭐.
So, essentially,
이 좋은
these
실력으로 왜
two
미디어 맨날
families,
떨어지냐?
this poor family and wealthy family,
저는
their
이게
paths
위조나
cross,
문제라고 생각하지 않아요.
and the intrigue that builds from there is very powerful.
부자들이 원래 참 잘 속아.
And you can see
사모님이
their views
뭐랄까.
on the rich people. I'll get into that a little
풀타임으로
bit more
수업
in
어떻게
detail here.
하시는지. Is it okay with you?
But look at the cinematography. I mean, this is a
우리 다솜이도
gorgeous
완전
film.
예술가 재질인데.
The attention to
그린 거죠.
detail,
자화상이에요.
framing of it, and the performances are amazing.
역시
그동안 미술쌤도 여러 명
there's
바꿔가면서
quite a bit of humor
했었는데요.
here as well.
제가
They've managed to
사람하고
mix
킥하고
in,
떠올랐는데
suspense, humor, intrigue.
제시카, 외동딸, 일리노이, 시카고.
It's something that, if you're a fan of cinema, you'll end up watching multiple times. And again, people are saying, yeah, I expected this film to be one thing, and then it suddenly changes
부자인데
to something
착하다니까.
else. And
진짜 니가 착한 거지.
what it really is, I'm going to turn this music down a little bit more. What it really is
I'm deadly
a
serious.
character study in what people do when they become desperate, and how far you'll go when you become desperate or when you're ambitious. Everyone wants to live a good life, and what we'll certainly do to get that is the long and short of it. But it is amazing. All these reviews, they're definitely not blowing smoke when it comes to the quality of this film. So anyways, that is very much a really good reason to see this. Just like I said, in terms of the entertainment value, the artistic value of it, the intelligence behind the storytelling. I've written and published 5 novels, so I understand how hard it is to craft something like this, especially having an ending that is essentially perfect to the story, the type of story that you're telling. It takes a lot of discipline, and I know that word is thrown around loosely, but being disciplined as an artist, it's very easy to take a journey and say, for example, you take your favorite franchise and you take the characters from your favorite franchise and you want to basically play with them like dolls, and you want to create your own story. And a lot of people can visualize some really cool things with their favorite characters. and I don't begrudge anyone doing that. But for you to create a journey, a really intriguing journey that ties off with a nice ending, just like anything else. If it was gymnastics takes a lot of discipline to stick the landing. So this director very much had to restrain himself from going a lot of different paths, because in my opinion, as you're creating a story like this, your inner child will actually want to take you in a lot of different directions, and certain things will seem very satisfying, but it's the wrong direction to take the story. So he's done a fantastic job. So this is essentially the cast. I'm not going to get into this deep in details, but you have anyone who is of the Park family. The Park family is very wealthy, and then you have the poor family, and the interactions with them are quite striking. And the film doesn't cater to you much in the way of saying, here's how you should feel about these people. Here's how you should feel about the Parks, or here's how you should feel about the poor people. But there are some things that I'll get into in spoilers from there. So anyways, highly recommended. On the non-spoiler side, Parasite is amazing. The performances are great. It does have subtitles. I believe it does take place in South Korea. But South Korea is very modern. It's very Western. So you really, other than the subtitles, you really won't know the difference between this and a standard Western thriller. And I shouldn't say that. I mean, I shouldn't say standard Western thriller. This is way better than what we're getting as far as American thrillers today. Even if I compare this to A Quiet Place, this far surpasses A Quiet Place in its discipline, in its level of execution, in the intelligence of its storytelling. The performances are probably right on par with A Quiet Place. I mean, I'm not trying to trash A Quiet Place by any means. It's a good film, but this is just a whole nother level. So, and I'm sure that those cast members, I mean, Emily Blunt in The Quiet Place, could rise to this level of performance had she had a script that was as powerful as this. And like I said, I like The Quiet Place. The Quiet Place just, in my mind, is not on the level with this type of film, because this is so much of a study of our culture globally. This has become a global cultural phenomenon. So anyways, highly recommended. So now getting into spoiler territory. For those of you that do not want spoilers, go ahead and leave now, because I'm going to get a little bit deeper into the weeds on this film. So 3, 2, 1, we're getting into the spoiler section. By the way, for those of you that are leaving, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It allows us to keep growing. It gives us more resources. We've got some really exciting projects on our Patreon. We're going to be announcing those. So I have some personal things in production with myself, with my business partner, and we've got some talented people working on a lot of projects. So we'll keep you on the loop on those as they're happening. And as we have parties and things like that for these events, we'll certainly bring you in for those parties. You being the Patreon supporters or being supporters of the channel. So anyways, now spoiler territory. So with Parasite, essentially what's happening is these poor people, essentially this poor family, they find a way to end up working for this wealthy family systematically. And it's quite impressive, because the son, and forgive me, I don't recall exactly the character names, but the son here on the left starts out, he gets a job teaching their daughter English. And, and once he's in the household, he starts to see opportunities for other jobs. So with the family being as wealthy as they are, they have a young son, and they want their young son to get art lessons. And the funny thing about it is the young son, he's terrible at art, but it makes his mother happy. So he pretends that he cares about art. So essentially his sister ends up becoming the art instructor for the young boy. She knows nothing about the artistic therapy or whatever it is they're trying to teach him. It's just totally new concept. It's a completely useless study that they're trying to execute with a boy who's way too young, to be engaging in that type of discipline, and he doesn't care about it. So, but it's hilarious. I mean, she comes in and she takes it very seriously. She kicks out the mom and the nanny when she's teaching him art. Sits in this little teepee with him while she's teaching him art. And then also they have a driver. And so the dad ends up replacing the driver. They basically screw the driver over so that the dad can take his job. And then the mom, they screw the maid over so that the mom can take the maid's job. Now, I mean, I'm not going to tell you how all that happens because even though this is a spoiler part of the review, I don't want to ruin those parts of the plot. But it's rather interesting that these people, you look at them as, wow, they're poor, they're really struggling, they're smart, but they do some really terrible things, and so I really like the perspective of the film where it lets you kind of make your own decision on who's good and who's bad, and there's a lot of gray area. But one area where I would really criticize the film is that the Parks, the wealthy family, so this is the wealthy family, and there's the boy, so he's engaged in the arts, and then the daughter is learning English, and then of course the mother and the father. Now, the wealthy family, they're not, I don't see them as monsters, right? So I don't see the justification of portraying them as monsters because they're millionaires, and the world really needs millionaires, and I think millionaires are really great for the world economy. I don't like billionaires. I'm not a fan of people who make billions of dollars on the backs of their employees and just write themselves $1 billion check when they could do profit sharing for their employees. So I didn't see this wealthy family as being bad people the way they were portrayed. I thought that was a little unfair. However, the film is entertaining, but I will say that I don't think that this wealthy family deserved, half of what went down. So that's an interesting take, but form your own opinion. Thank you for watching. Again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll have more videos coming for you soon. Thanks.